So, let me ask you a question, and I want you to really genuinely think about it for a second. Who is the world's largest gaming company? If I went out and asked 100 people on the street right now, I'd probably get answers like Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, maybe even EA. But the actual answer? It's going to surprise you. Because the company wearing the crown doesn't just dominate the gaming industry, it sits at the absolute center of one of the largest economies on Earth, literally steering the daily habits of a massive population.
The answer is Tencent. Yeah, Tencent. Now, for a lot of folks outside of Asia, Tencent operates almost like a ghost in the machine. You might not see their logo on your phone's home screen, but they cast this massive, undeniable shadow over the entire global tech landscape. They are absolutely the heart of China's digital life. And we're not just talking about a successful tech company here. We're talking about an economic powerhouse that has fundamentally rewritten the rules on how software, media, and everyday human interaction can be monetized. It is operating on a truly cinematic scale.
Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the blueprint of Tencent, the world's most powerful digital ecosystem. We're going to pull back the curtain on how a company moved way beyond simple messaging to just absolutely dominate fintech, gaming, and content creation. We'll explore the incredible architecture of their empire, and honestly, by the end of this, you're going to look at the apps on your own phone very, very differently.
Section 1. The Invisible Giant, Beyond a Single Product.
Section 2. WeChat, the Walled Garden.
To really grasp Tencent's power, we have to completely shift our perspective on what makes a tech company successful. Over in the West, we're super used to this fragmented digital life, right? You have an app for messaging, a completely different app for banking, another one for hailing an Uber, and yet another for ordering dinner. Well, Tencent realized early on that this creates a tremendous inefficiency. It's a massive point of friction, making users jump between all these disconnected environments. So they evolved WeChat from a simple messaging app into a fully comprehensive digital infrastructure. The sheer genius of this architecture is built on something called mini-programs. These are basically built-in features that act as sub-apps entirely within WeChat. They completely remove the need for a user to ever visit an app store or download external applications. It creates this seamless, self-contained walled garden. Once you're inside, absolutely everything you could possibly need is right there at your fingertips.
Let's just walk through a typical day in this ecosystem to see how this actually plays out in real life. So, step 1. You wake up, grab a coffee, and pay for it instantly by scanning a QR code through the app's integrated payment system. Step 2. You head to the office and use the exact same platform to launch video calls, share sensitive documents, and collaborate with your team. Step 3. On your commute home, you launch a heavy-duty, high-quality video game right there inside the exact same interface. You shop, you work, you play, you pay your utility bills, you even book doctor's appointments, all without ever closing WeChat. The ecosystem is designed so perfectly that leaving the walled garden actually becomes a major inconvenience.
Section 3. The Content Engine, Fueling the Ecosystem.
Tencent really leverages the sheer gravity of that walled garden we just talked about. Because WeChat isn't just an app anymore. It essentially acts as a localized operating system for over 1 billion lives. 1 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. When you have the daily, undivided attention of 1 billion people running their entire lives through your infrastructure, you generate an absolute ocean of social data. You know exactly what people like, what they share, what they play, and what they buy. Tencent uses this phenomenal social data to fuel their gaming and media dominance. We all know attention is the modern world's oil, right? Well, Tencent is sitting on the largest reserve on the planet.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this creates a massive structural advantage. We call this their social plus content flywheel. Let's just compare Tencent to traditional tech rivals for a moment. A standard media or gaming company has to just bleed cash on marketing, user acquisition, and distribution networks just to get their content in front of your eyeballs. They're constantly fighting for scraps of attention, facing immense friction at every single turn. Tencent, on the other hand, well, they already own the attention. Because they control the social infrastructure where those 1 billion people are already spending their time, they can push out new games, new music, and new media at a drastically lower cost. The social network pushes the content keeps people on the social network, and that flywheel just spins faster and faster, generating these staggering profit margins that rivals literally cannot match.
Section 4. The Investment Flywheel, a Global Reach.
So, what does a giant do when it's completely mastered its home territory? It looks outward. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, hey, this is fascinating, but I don't live in China, I don't use WeChat, so I'm not really caught in Tencent's ecosystem. Well, hold on. Tencent doesn't just build products, they buy stakes in the ones you're already using every day. If you, or maybe your kids, have ever played the global phenomenon Fortnite, you're engaging with Epic Games, which is a company Tencent heavily invested in. If you follow the electric vehicle market and Elon Musk, you should probably know Tencent has held significant stakes in Tesla. They are deeply, deeply embedded in Western industries, from gaming to automotive to social media.
And the brilliant strategic twist here is that Tencent operates almost like a massive global venture capital firm. They invest in hundreds of companies around the world, but unlike a traditional conglomerate that tries to swallow companies whole and micromanage every little detail, Tencent takes a notably hands-off approach. They provide the capital, they expand their global influence rapidly, and they reap the financial rewards, all without the immense burden of having to actively manage every single brand. They let Epic be Epic, they let Tesla be Tesla. But as those companies win, Tencent wins. It is an absolute masterclass in casting a global net without overstretching their operational capacity.
Section 5. The future of interconnectivity, the digital currency.
When we take a step back and look at this entire cinematic blueprint, from the walled garden of WeChat to this massive global investment web. So, the crucial point is really this. The most valuable commodity in the digital age is interconnectivity. Tencent proves that creating a single, great product is just no longer enough to reach the absolute apex of the tech world. True power lies in connecting systems. It's all about connecting users to services seamlessly, connecting data to content generation, and connecting vast capital to global innovation. Tencent didn't just build an app. They built the digital roads, the bridges, and the infrastructure that allow all these different elements to speak to one another. They proved that whoever controls the connections controls the future.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. Seeing how seamlessly Tencent weaves shopping, working, playing, and global investments into one giant web, ask yourself what invisible digital ecosystems are you living inside right now? Whether it's Apple, Google, Amazon, you're likely part of a massive interconnected machine yourself. Think about where your data goes, how your apps connect, and who's really building the walled gardens all around you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep asking great questions, and I will catch you in the next explainer.